Lewis Clark State College students of History 101. Let's talk about your syllabus, huh? I want to go through this as quickly as I can, not to rush it, but you guys can read this, and then some of this stuff we'll do piece by piece as we go through the semester, and you can digest it a little more. I just kind of want to give you the quick intro. Here are the highlights that you're probably looking for. So it's not overwhelming. But anyway, and then on Thursday you can come to class with any questions that you have about the syllabus. So the class is world history from the beginning of time until roughly 1500. We are not going to memorize. I mean, you are not going to know everything that ever happened within that time frame. We're not going to work on memorizing dates. I'm not a big fan of that. But what we are going to do is work on developing some historical skills and a historical timeline and some historical content so that you can use history as a way of understanding the contemporary world and use it as like a conceptual tool that you can go off no matter what your major is, and you've got some history in your head to kind of put pieces together as stuff you see around you. We'll talk about this as we go. The Gen Ed stuff here, just for the moment, the class is part of your Gen Ed core. You guys take a look at that. We'll talk more about it in class, but that's the main thing. The required text, it's important. Don't skip it. You need it. Start getting it right now. There's 50 copies available in the library for free, and then after that, you need, if you're not one of the first 50, I'm teaching 3 sections, I think, of this class. If you're not one of the first 50, then you'll need to find you a used copy online or a digital copy. The book is Kevin Riley's Worlds of History, Volume 1. Got to keep my mind onto where this camera is, right? There's 2 different volumes. You need Volume 1. There's also, in addition to the 2 different volumes, 7 different editions. You need edition 6. All right? None of the other editions will work. You need edition 6. However, lucky for you, it's a used edition. They're cheap. So work on getting that right now. And you're gonna bring it to class with you every day. It's going to be one of those classes. I like to work with the data, and that's the book, full of your data. And if for whatever reason you've ordered your book and it comes late, well, that's a chance for you to meet somebody in the class and, use your device to do whatever you need to do so that you're able to keep up with the readings. But that's on you. All right. So take care of that. Praxis study guide for those of y'all doing secondary ed things. This material in this class is on the exam you're going to need to take if you're trying to be a secondary ed teacher. So just be aware. How you're graded is probably the stuff you guys really want to know about, right? I'm not going to go into a lot of details because some of the assignments are real straightforward, and some of the assignments we just kind of need to get to talk about, right? So, roughly the class is divvied into 4 20% things, right? And I'm just kind of moving through this a little bit. So 20% of your grade is going to be based on class participation, being in class. I like people in class. Discussing history. I like people discussing history. And then we've got 4 papers that are going to be included in this portion of your grade. They're like 500 to 750 words, so 2 to 3 pages based on the materials. All right, I'll give you the questions in advance, but writing is an important skill, right? And I want you guys to focus on doing your own writing. We'll come back to this in a minute when we get to my AI policy, all right? Next, you got another 20% that's worth map on your map quizzes. They're straightforward. We'll talk about them more in class. Random pop quizzes are also straightforward. We will talk about these more in class. You are always going to be allowed to use your notes on pop quizzes. Written notes, you may use them on your pop quizzes. The pop quizzes are just to see whether you've done the readings or not. I like it when you do the readings. Take notes, show up, ace them. It's easy. And then we've got 2 take-home essays worth 20% of your overall grade. They're just sort of souped up thought pieces that we will have already done a couple of. I'll coach you through it when it's time. All right. Basic 5-paragraph essay style. Historians like that kind of thing. Let's talk about latent makeup work. I'm not really into it, so stay on top of things. However, I get it. Sometimes things happen. So keep me in the loop when things happen, all right? You know, for example, the pop quizzes. You can't really make the pop quizzes up. But everybody's going to miss a day or two of class. I get that. I might miss a day or two of class. So we'll have all that set up, right? But materials are due in class when I ask for them. Academic honesty. All right. I'll come to the AI policy at the end of the document, or I'll let you read the AI policy at the end of the document. But I'm going to be very clear about it, okay? I expect every single word you write for this class to come out of your brain and your thoughts. Every single word. I'm not interested in what a robot thinks about the documents. All right? And my tolerance level for that has it's non-existent. All right? So just write your own stuff. We'll talk about this. Go through my AI policy so that there's no confusion over these things. I am not too psyched about sort of the new world of AI. I've thought very seriously about just going back to old school. We're writing essays in class. I have my own reasons that I don't care for that. So we're going to roll with this one more semester. Write your own essays. Don't use AI. We'll talk about it. All right. What else do I need? Let me refer to my notes here for a second. Course schedule, it's a living document. I've even got a couple of places where I have notes to myself that says, you know, rework this or has a question mark. So here's the thing about the schedule. It is the schedule. But if you guys are really into a particular thing, I don't see the reason to smash an awesome discussion about history because we have a schedule to keep. And if what I thought was going to be really interesting turns out not to be, I don't necessarily feel the need to dwell on it. And, you know, we'll keep moving till something sticks. But this is more or less the schedule. And the exam schedules, the map quiz schedules, all that's solid. I'm flying through this because there is one more thing I wanted to talk about, which is basically the how to get a hold of me part. I am notoriously difficult to get a hold of in my office. It doesn't mean that I'm not around. My office hours, I'm almost always in my office from 10:30 to 11:30 on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Wednesdays, I'm often in my office from something along the lines of 9:30 to 11:30. But I also realize that some of y'all have got classes at that time, some of y'all have got jobs. It's not necessarily convenient for everybody at that time. So I run a lot of office hours on Zoom. Okay, I run a lot of office hours on Zoom, and you guys are usually going to get an email notification. Appointments are a little easier too, but that's a way to get a hold of me. My phone, my phone just goes to an answering machine. It's a long story. In order to get a hold of me, you're better off using the Canvas inbox to just send me an email. I'll get back with you in a day or two if it's not the weekend or after 5. If you got a straight up emergency, just feel free to use my lc.edu email. But the LC has got my filters set so tight on that sometimes it just winds up going to a spam folder. Canvas, you have a record. You sent me an email. I have a record. How to get a hold of me? Office over at Spalding 315. You guys come by and see me. Okay. Yeah, I need to change our course location. I think we're in 240. Okay. That is the quick look at the syllabus. You guys just kind of go through this, check it out. And we will, oh, you know what? Okay, I forgot something. And I got 3 more minutes to stay within my 15-minute thing here. You guys take a look at my grading policies. All right? An A is something I ought to be handing out to the next class as a model. It's something that you might consider handing off to a future employer as an example of the kind of writing you're capable of doing. That's an A. A C, you did what I asked you to do and not a bit more, and you did a good job. We don't have to talk about the rest of it. But I'm assuming that in addition to learning some history and other things in college, several of you are interested in having improved employment possibilities when you graduate. And the best way to have improved employment possibilities, that's a bit of a tongue twister, is to start now. Get into the habits now. All right. I will see you in class. You bring any questions you have. Thank you.